wish President Trump all the best as well. When there is a vacancy in the United States Senate, that is a different thing. It does not occur very often. Since 1913, Ohioans and people across this country, citizens across this country, have had the ability to select the U.S. Senator. Ohio law provides that when there is a vacancy in the United States Senate, it is the governor who makes that interim appointment. And so I have the obligation to make an appointment, which I'm told will basically last until after the 2026 election. I think December 15th is the normal time when the new person who is elected, or that person continues to be in office. So this is an unusual situation. And it's, frankly, a very heavy responsibility, and it's a responsibility that I take very seriously. It was my honor and privilege to serve in the United States Senate, to represent the people of Ohio for 2 terms, 12 years. I think I have a pretty good idea of what it takes to succeed in the United States Senate, what it takes to represent your state. As I was looking for the right person, I wanted someone who knew Ohio. Ohio is a complex state. You drive across it, you think it's all farmland, and yet we have 6 or 7 major metropolitan areas, more than virtually any state in the Union. It is diverse in so many different ways, and it takes a while, candidly, to get to know this state. So I wanted someone who had a firm grasp and understanding of the complexity of Ohio, the diversity, and frankly, the greatness of Ohio. I also wanted someone who understands the interaction between the federal government and the state government. There is so much interaction, and so much of what we do, what I do as governor, what any governor can do, is impacted not just by the laws passed by Congress, but also, frankly, by the different rules and regulations put forward by the president and by the executive branch. But it's an intricate relationship. I wanted someone who understood that. Third, I wanted someone who, frankly, would go to the United States Senate and work. I wanted a workhorse. I wanted someone who I knew would get up in the morning every single day, focus on Ohio, focus on the people here, but also focus on the obligation that senator had for the whole country. To state the obvious, there are only 100 of them. There's only 100 United States senators, and each one can play a major role. One of the things I found different between the House and the Senate, and I served in both, is that when you walk into the United States Senate, whether you're the most junior member or the most senior, you can make a difference. And you can make a difference whether you're in the minority party or whether you're in the majority party. We need, this is a serious time in our history. I won't go into all the reasons why, but I think if you look at foreign affairs, if you look at national defense, if you look at the international situation today, if you look at where our defense is, the United States Senator plays a major role and can play and does play a major role in regard to our national security. And so, again, serious times demand serious people. Finally, the next person who goes to the U.S. Senate, I knew would have to run and run and run. We're used to 6-year terms, but this person I knew would, after I appointed them, could only serve for 2 years. They would have to run for re-election or run for election, and then if they won, they would have to turn around and run again in 2 years. So it had to be someone who I knew, frankly, who had the skill sets, but also the determination, had it, frankly, in their gut, that they could get up in the morning and do this day after day after day, and at the same time carry on their great duties as a United States Senator. The process we went through took a while, and it took a while because of the gravity of this decision. I interviewed a large number of people. we heard from a large number of people. There were many people who I considered very qualified to serve in the United States Senate to represent the state of Ohio. But I came to the conclusion, as you see, that the person who is best suited to be the United States Senator is a person who has been close to me for the last 6 years, a person who almost daily I work with, and that is Lieutenant Governor Jon Husted. I have worked with him. I have seen him. I know his knowledge of Ohio. I know his heart. I know what he cares about. I know his skills. And all of that tells me that he is the right person for this job. In every major decision that I have made in the last 6 years as governor of the state of Ohio, Jon Husted has played a part in that decision. And those times, we all don't agree on everything. Fran points out that she and I don't agree on everything. So it should not be a shock that Jon and I might disagree on some things. But even in the cases where he saw things differently, my decision was informed and was helped by his input. If you look at the specific areas where he has been involved, I started to
listening live to Ohio Governor Mike DeWine tapping Lieutenant Governor Jon Husted to replace Senator J.D. Vance in Congress. As soon as Mr. Husted steps to that podium to speak, we will bring it to here on CBS News 24/7. But Mr. Husted is known as being a fiscal conservative. He served deeply in Ohio state government. By the way, endorsements, just getting a quick read on him and who he is, because he will be casting a vote in the Republican-led Senate, endorsed by the Ohio Right to Life Association, the National Rifle Association, and the Christian Home Educators Association. Once again, when he steps in front of that podium, you will hear from the man who will now wear the title of Senator, taking the place of J.D. Vance, who is now going to be our nation's vice president on Inauguration Day. So let's take the focus now back to Southern California. We continue to see this devastation playing out and the work to put out those hot spots. So let's talk about the firefighters. In Southern California, they have the weekend to really try to boost those containment numbers, as they do expect some of those harsh winds entering LA County to die down. But get this, 80,000 people are out of their homes, and now they're hearing of a new warning: landslides and toxic chemicals, and that only adds to the risks. CBS News reporter Andres Gutierrez in Pacific Palisades. He is live there outside of one of those burned out homes. You know, my friend, if I am one of those homeowners, I want to get in, I want to sift through and see what remains. I want to maybe even start hauling some things away. You're saying that they can't get in and really touch anything in a formative way?
Correct. At this point, the county has said that they have to have professionals come in and assess the situation. What kind of hazardous materials burned? How are they going to remove it? In some cases, as I pointed out earlier, there are some electric vehicles that are sitting in the garages, in the parking lots there, that have to have those lithium-ion batteries that have the risk of catching fire, even though the fire is out. It's also emitting, toxic chemicals, and so they're looking at other best practices from previous disasters, like the one in Hawaii and Maui in 2023, to see how they disposed of those and how they could apply that to here. In the last 10 minutes, we received an alert from the mayor's office that at 2 o'clock our time here locally, at 5 o'clock Eastern, she will be making a major announcement in the rebuilding process, so we're going to monitor that as well. Right now, here in the heart of the disaster, there are public works crews that are trying to make repairs to those lines that were damaged during the fire. EPA crews also going to lots like this, trying to make those assessment of those hazardous materials. The LA Sheriff's Department has also issued a warning to all the deputies, the ones working over in the Altadena area, to make sure that they are wearing their N95 masks, because they're saying that the air is hazardous. It can contain lead and asbestos, and they're also asking those deputies to make sure that they decontaminate, wash their uniforms before they head home. So a lot of safeguards being taken in place here because of all the risks that are in the environment now because of these wildfires.
And Andres, looking at that burned out house behind you, it's so easy to forget that that is somebody's home there, what remains of somebody's home, and that the family that belonged to that house and those now ruins is looking for a place to stay. There's also a big conversation happening in the state of California, led by Rob Bonta, the Attorney General there, about price gouging and the fact that they are tracking in real time people who would jack up the price of rent or the price of short-term stays. What do you know about that?
Yeah, so before these disasters occurred, the housing market here in LA, as you know, was pretty tight. And so now these folks are getting out there. They're trying to find a short-term rental. A lot of these landlords have unfortunately been taking advantage of the situation. And we have seen on social media, people have been posting, screenshots of Zillow postings that have shot up 67%. That is against state law. The Attorney General for the state of California coming out and saying that they cannot do that. When there's an emergency like this, prices cannot go up more than 10%. His office has opened investigations into these allegations of price gouging. They are encouraging folks who are experiencing this or seeing price gouging to take screenshots and email them or give them a call. There is a specific hotline. I'll give you that hotline if you want to take it down. It is 800-952-5225. Again, 800-952-5225. There are the punishments. If you are caught and if they do this investigation and they carry it out, the penalties can up to a year in jail or up to a $10,000 fine. And so the Attorney General here in California taking this very seriously.
All right, Andres Gutierrez, thank you so much for that update. And let's talk to Jess right now because we understand there's a little window of opportunity before Monday when the winds are supposed to kick back up again.
Let's talk about that real fast. We're going to start seeing more Santa Ana winds as we head into Monday and Tuesday, yes. But they're not going to be nearly as strong as what we experienced last week or earlier this week. Yes, it's just the same direction because right now what we're getting is that nice Pacific breeze along the California coastline that they're used to that helps relative humidity increase. It's coming in from the Pacific, so it's a little bit cooler too. It's going to look different as we head into early next week. And so that's that window that we were kind of just mentioning. They're going to get those offshore winds once again for Monday and Tuesday, but right now it looks a lot different. We dive all the way down into Southern California, the Palisades fire along the coast near Malibu, the Eaton fire all the way up near Pasadena, and of course all throughout Altadena. We continue to keep a close eye on the containment of those fires and also the weather conditions too. That was such the driving force when it came to watching these blow up in size. And now what's happening right now, winds are significantly light. I mean, at gusts we're seeing close to around 3-mile-per-hour winds pushing in from the Pacific, and heading into the next couple hours we'll continue to really watch these light conditions stick around. That's the case for us as we head all the way into our Monday forecast, except for the fact that we start to see them kick up just a little bit more. At max, close to around 20-mile-per-hour wind gusts as we head into our Monday forecast. By Tuesday, we'll continue to see that kind of die down. But that shift of winds, of course, still causes a concern when it comes to lower relative humidity. It's high right now. It's starting to decrease as we head into early next week in those forecasted models. So, like I said, these winds that we're talking about, you don't want to strike fear for them, but you do want them to know what they can expect as we head into this weekend. It is going to be lighter this weekend. By Monday and Tuesday, they'll start getting those offshore winds, which makes it a little bit challenging for the firefighters out there battling these fires. Okay, and Mother Nature's also dominating headlines over in Washington, D.C. because it's going to be frigid for the inauguration. So coming up, we're going to be talking about the impacts of weather on the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump and the fact that 20,000 people will get to go inside. What about the 230,000 other ticket holders who will be traveling to our nation's capital? Much more ahead on Mother Nature interfering with plans for the inauguration of our nation's next president.
Don't miss true crime anytime you want, anywhere you go with the 48 Hours podcast. Real crimes.
Like a John Grisham novel come to life.
Real lives.
He pointed a gun to me and said, "This is the day you die." And he shot me.
Real justice.
There's some questions that have to be asked and need to be answered.
I'm an innocent man, and I hope the whole world can see it now.
Catch the latest episodes. Listen to 48 Hours on Apple Podcasts.
Okay, so let's just start at the beginning.
Well, let me start with this.
What is at stake here? What is the answer then?
Do you know why?
You want me to just keep going?
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Were there death threats?
How is this possible?
What's wrong with that argument?
Are you saying they lied?
Have you told the government that? Why won't you say the word crisis?
You're not answering my question.
Is that scary?
Does that make sense?
What do you mean?
What does that mean?
Did any of that make sense?
What's your response?
What happened? Why?
It's time for the CBS News Original 60 Minutes, Sunday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
Let's do it! Let's go! Let's do this! I can see clearly now that the rain is gone. Superstar approaching, superstar approaching.
Just get your popcorn and get ready.
Come on, Julia. Oh, no. I will if you will.
You go, Gail.
Yeah, boy!
Dollar Jill.
If you can't get into the market, it's okay. Renting is fine.
Box, oh, it's bad. Screw cap, oh, it's bad. It's not true.
We are making a wonderful lemony chicken.
Ooh, it's hot. That's good.
I wonder what Serena's doing. I wonder how Serena is feeling.
That's a really good question. No one's asked me that yet.
You're 70 years old? 70, yeah. I'm 21.
We'll see you 7 o'clock sharp.
To be moderator of Face the Nation is not an anchor, it's not an actress. You are up here to moderate a conversation. That means bringing the most powerful stakeholders to the table to become better informed.
There is no more room in our city.
New York City is receiving record numbers of migrants.
Today, we're going to have more than 500 adults and children come through that door.
Tensions rise as shelters reach max capacity.
We don't have to take care of them.
CBS Reports goes inside a crisis cities and families are facing as they fight to survive.
The United States still has that glimmer of hope for people to come here.
Fighting for a future. Now streaming on the free CBS News app.
Don't miss true crime anytime you want, anywhere you go with 48 Hours Podcasts. Real crimes, real lives, real justice. Listen to 48 Hours Podcasts wherever you get your podcasts.
Makes you wonder who Mother Nature would have voted for had she been able to cast a vote. Welcome back, everybody. So we're watching changes in the weather that affect the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump. So let's go to much warmer territory. CBS News political reporter Aaron Navarro right now. Aaron, what is the breaking news relative to the inauguration and the prior plans to hold it outside?
Well, we heard from President-elect Trump this morning announce that they are going to be moving the inauguration speech, including his own address, in the rotunda in the U.S. Capitol. And we're still waiting to hear what happens from those folks who have bought tickets, as you mentioned right before the break. We do know that Trump is hosting a sort of live stream of his address at the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C., but the capacity there is only about a bit more than 20,000. So we'll see what the other ticket holders